What's up, guys? Welcome back to today's episode of The Sports Sermon. We are brought to you by Scooch, the most functional phone case on the market. Check out ScoochCase.com to get yours today and use the code SPORTS18, sports with a Z, of course, to get a 10% discount on your order. Stay tuned till the end for a special Scooch giveaway as well. But now, today's episode. So we are here today to talk about Dan's Dallas Mavericks. Of course, Dan is with us. I am Jason Gandhi. I'm also with Dylan Staggy. The trio are here today to discuss the Mavericks Offseason moves. Before we get into it, I want to make sure you guys know where you can find the show. You can find it on YouTube, iTunes, and Spotify. You can follow me on Twitter at jgandhi2425. You can follow Dan on Twitter at dmajors44 and Dylan on Twitter at staggydylan. The rest of the Southwest is posted, so go check out that. It's all in our NBA Offseason Recap 2018 playlist. Go check out that for every single NBA team and more. Also, college football, NBA is this. College football, NFL, and fantasy football all have their own podcast for this year as well. We do those almost 3 days a week, sometimes 4, sometimes 2. Go check out all of that. But enough going around the point. Let's get into the Dallas Mavericks. DeAndre Jordan finally comes to Dallas. Did you like the signing, and were you guys surprised there was mutual interest after the past history?
I love the signing. It was a perfect one-year deal that we can just try out for a season. We don't have our draft pick for this year, so why not try to win? It's been a while since I've actually enjoyed a Mavericks season, so this will be fun. I was a little surprised the front office decided they wanted him just because every fan and probably everyone in the organization hated him until now. But it makes sense in basketball terms. I like the signing. I do not hate DeAndre Jordan anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that he brings a defensive presence to the Mavericks that they were looking for but just could not find in Nerlens Noel. And now they got rid of him, bring in DeAndre Jordan, and he should definitely fill that role a lot better than Nerlens Noel tried to last season. And I think time heals all wounds for the mutual interest part. And also $24 million. No other team was really offering DeAndre Jordan that. No, not really.
I mean, the Clippers were offering him it, and he did not want to stay there. But I also liked it, like you said, because it's a 1 year, see if this can work type contract. Dan, you kind of hit all this stuff on the nail of the head. This year's going to be really fun because you guys are going to have two young guys that are going to have a lot of highlights and heck of a season with Doncic and Dennis Smith Jr., and you're actually going to have some stability at the 4 and 5 with Dirk and DeAndre. This team could and will surprise people, I think.
Yep.
Let's talk about the second young guy I mentioned, Luka Doncic. The Mavericks traded up to snag Luka. They gave up a future first round to do it. Dylan, I know you love Luka Doncic, so I'll go to you first. Did you like the pick in Doncic, and did you like the trade to go up and get it?
Yeah, I mean, I love Luka. I think he's the most NBA-ready prospect and gives the Mavs a better distributing guard than Dennis Smith Jr., he's an all-around offensive player and has the potential to be an offensive superstar.
I've got to ask you a question on that. Do you see then Doncic as the 1 and then Dennis Smith playing the 2?
Kinda. I mean, I feel like it's going to be a little different than most teams. I mean, I wouldn't really give them a 1 or a 2, kind of. It sounds kind of weird, but, I mean, Doncic is just going to be the guy. I mean, they can both bring the ball up the court. But when you have Doncic, you're going to want to have him distribute a lot more than...
I feel like Smith has to play the 1, though. Like, that's the only position he can play. Doncic can play other positions.
And that's what I was going to say. Do you have, like, a team that you can kind of, like, oh, it's going to look similar to this? Or no, do you think it's going to be something completely different than we've seen?
I mean, you can kind of look at the two guards with the Rockets a little bit. I mean, these guys are not really alike. But, I mean, if you look at the Rockets, I would put more of Dennis Smith Jr. as James Harden, who kind of distributes the ball some, but once you have Chris Paul, you're going to want to set it up for him to pass the ball more and get everyone else involved, while Harden, you're looking for to drive to the bucket a lot more, like Dennis Smith Jr. will.
See, I would look at it the other way around. Like, I'd say Doncic would be Harden and Smith would be Chris Paul. But.
And then I think Doncic also has the versatility to play other positions.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I like that too.
Yeah, so at first I was not a fan of the trade or the pick as I wanted Bamba, and I didn't think Doncic would fit with DSJ already there as a ball-dominant point guard. But I thought about it more, and Doncic will play the 2 or 3, and if each can play a role just fine, then I think it'll work out. As for the trade, I was not a huge fan, so let's just say the Mavs kept the 5th pick and took Bamba. Then we have DSJ, Bamba, and a top 3 to 5 pick next year. Let's say that turns into Romeo Langford or Zion Williamson. That's a great young core.
Shout out Romeo Langford.
Well, I mean, I don't think the Mavs will be a top 3 to 5 team next year, though.
That's what I'm saying though. Without
Doncic. And without DeAndre Jordan.
Exactly. Without DeAndre Jordan, yeah.
You think that's really worth it, though?
I mean, that's a great young core, but I mean, you look at
basically the question is: do you prefer Dennis Smith Jr., Doncic, and DeAndre Jordan, or do you prefer Dennis Smith Jr., Mo Bamba, and then a pick next year? It's basically the question you guys are going back and forth between.
Yeah, I like Doncic and DeAndre.
But that's not going to win you championships. Like the team that I just mentioned, like the 3, those could turn out to be stars in the NBA.
I mean, so could Doncic.
I mean, yeah, but like, I don't think DeAndre Jordan might not stay for a long time. So, and he's not really he's kind of a star, but he's not a superstar, and he's not going to get any better, I don't think. So, I don't know.
I think it's interesting what you guys are going back and forth between, because Dan's going more of, if we're not going to be great, let's rebuild until we're great, where Dylan is more like, it's okay to be fine and like good. It's better to be good, not great, than to be like bad with the potential to be great. It's basically kind of what you guys are saying back and forth. Because like what you're saying is like you don't want a DeAndre, like you know what you're getting. You almost basically don't want to know what you're getting. You want to have the boom or bust potential because you think if it all comes together, you can win a championship.
Exactly.
Where Dylan's saying you know what you're getting in DeAndre Jordan. Dylan thinks he knows what he's getting in Luka Doncic. He's very confident in that, so he thinks that's good enough to be a playoff team and all of that, and he'd rather have that than be.
Yeah, I mean, who says you can't build around 2 guards? I mean.
The
Rockets did it, like with a bunch of other, like you just signed a bunch of 3-and-D wings.
Those are also that's Chris Paul and James Harden too.
And to be fair, I mean, you look at the Wizards, you look at the Blazers, it didn't work out for them. Even the Raptors, it didn't work out for.
Yeah,
I think you guys are both making interesting points. I think it's just interesting the way you guys value like your guys' teams. Like if you wanted your team, I think that's interesting. Real quick, what I was going to say is I agree with Damon. You guys talking about like the 1-2. I had Doncic fit in as the 2. I think he fits in nicely as a 2. I do wonder how much ball handling responsibilities he's going to have, like you guys kind of already talked about, because his biggest strength was court vision, and without the ball, that's not very helpful. Like it's great to see the court, but you got to have the ball in your hands. And so Doncic, since he needs the ball in his hands, I worry what's that do to Dennis Smith Jr. because he also needs the ball in his hands. Yes, we've seen it work in Houston. We didn't see it work in Oklahoma City very well. We've seen it kind of work in Portland, Washington. So I don't know. I think it's interesting. For the trade, I personally don't think it was worth it because I don't think he was worth losing a first-round pick for, but I understand why they did it. If I'm Mark Cuban and I'm whoever their GM is, if you expect this team to make the playoffs, then yeah, it's definitely worth it. And that's where I think the discrepancy is between Dan and Dylan is Dan doesn't want to make the playoffs just to get lost to lose in the first round. Dan would rather keep building until you have a chance to win the championship. Where Dylan's saying I'd be okay going the first or second round because hey, you're in the playoffs.
Don't get me wrong, it's definitely gonna be a fun year, but like
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think the floor of I don't think the floor of DSJ and Doncic is to lose in the first round every year. I think they have plenty of potential to do more than that.
I think their floor is higher than that. I don't think their floor touches the playoffs.
Not for this year. I'm talking about the future.
right.
He's saying DeAndre's gone then. What Dan's saying is with that you miss out on Bamba because you have DeAndre Jordan. So now, but then what Dylan's saying is why not draft a big next year? Is that kind of your point? It's like if you're going to lose DeAndre, you might as well just go get a big next year. Then it's not any different or what?
Yeah, I mean, I love DeAndre, and there's still a good chance he can re-sign. Plus, I think he can be replaceable for the future. I think all bigs are at least sort of replaceable.
Yeah, I just look at it. I just wanted like 3 guys that I know top of the line talent can win a championship.
I don't think we'd be having this discussion if the trade didn't happen. If they would have got Luka at 5, I think this is different because I guess what I'm understanding is you're mad because you don't have a chance in the lottery next year unless you guys suck. So now you don't have that third piece. If DeAndre leaves, now you've just got two.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dylan, anything else on that, or are you good?
No.
All right. So, I mean, we kind of dabbled in this a little bit. What's the ceiling of Dennis Smith Jr., Luka Doncic, Harrison Barnes, Dirk Nowitzki, DeAndre Jordan lineup, and what are your expectations for the Mavs this season?
So my ceiling is the playoffs. I mean, if everything works out, like Doncic has a Rookie of the Year type numbers, plus DeAndre and DSJ improve some. So yeah, ceiling definitely the playoffs, but I don't expect winning the series or anything. But my expectations are like 35 to 40 wins with a much improved team and no tanking.
Yeah, I wouldn't say the ceiling is too high. Probably even just competing for a playoff spot because obviously DSJ and Doncic are still young. If Jordan resigns, I really like those three for the future. I think to take this team to the next level, you have to start building it and treating DSJ and Doncic like they are Chris Paul and James Harden of the Rockets. Sign a bunch of 3-and-D wings and let those other guys work around them. I think that's a sort of style that the Mavs should want to build around for their future.
See, I just think you're underestimating how good Chris Paul and James Harden really are.
I agree to a certain extent. I think you're just making it seem like it's very easy to get to the Chris Paul and James Harden level. I think, to be fair,
that's the guys that are similar to both of these guys, and I think that's just a team building strategy that they should go along. And obviously, these guys are both these guys are still on rookie contracts. Instead of Chris Paul and James Harden, they're both getting paid $40 million a year, so they can sign a really good 3-D wing for their team.
I don't know. I guess I look at DSJ and Doncic and don't think of Chris Paul and James Harden. For me, I see Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan. Neither are great shooters. They both are just athletic, and they both can drive. They both can get to the basket, but they also feed off one another very well. And I mean, the Raptors are not a bad team to be. Yeah, it sucks losing the playoffs, but the Raptors aren't a bad team to be. So for me, the ceiling this year would be competitive with the playoffs. I don't really see a way they make the playoffs. The West is too deep, and the Mavs are going to have growing pains. They're not that deep either, so if injuries occur, this team could very well be a very high lottery pick. This team actually reminds me a lot of the 2017 Lakers, though. They have a lot of young talent with good vets to help them win, and they don't have their pick to incentivize tanking. So I went with the win total that they had. I'll say 35 wins, and they're a team that no one wants to face because they come to play every night. They just come out motivated. Rick Carlisle is still one of the best coaches in the NBA, and they have no reason to tank, so he's going to get every single player motivated, and they're going to surprise some teams. I definitely think the Mavericks are on the up and up. We have time, though, if you guys want to keep going back in that DeAndre Jordan discussion. I guess, Dylan, my question for you that we just kind of going back off, what would be your next step if DeAndre leaves, but you don't have your pick next year? How do you make the Mavericks relevant with only two backcourt guys?
I mean, you've got to go all in on free agency. Obviously, $24 million gone from the salary that DeAndre was getting paid this year, and you look.
But the Mavs do that every year. They always are going after the big name, and they never get him. So there's no guarantee he gets them.
I mean, I think that's the only really option they have, and I
think DSJ and Doncic definitely have to prove themselves, though. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think Dennis Smith Jr. already did last year, and I see Doncic being really good.
But with Doncic there, it's going to be even tougher for him to prove it this year, I feel like. So.
What do you mean it'll be tougher for him to prove it this year?
Because Doncic could be playing the one. If Doncic plays the one, then DSJ could be irrelevant and could just be the Doncic show. I mean, I don't know.
I agree. I think that Doncic has a very good chance to hinder Dennis Smith Jr.'s development.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. I think they work well together. But again, I think even if you do sign DeAndre, you got to look at free agency next year and try to find another star to go along with them because they do have the cap space to do it.
Yeah, my last question for you guys, just as we wrap up, is do you think that Dennis Smith Jr. still has the same ceiling we thought he did with Luka Doncic?
Yeah. I mean, until we see it change, I feel like, you know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe Dylan's right. Maybe it does work out. So I'm going to keep the same ceiling.
Yeah, I think so too. I think there is ways that you can work both of them together. Definitely staggering the lineups too, so that they both can have the ball in their hands and kind of run their own shows at certain points throughout the game.
So that's going to do it for this episode. I mentioned Scooch in the beginning, so I'm going to up that offer to 15%. If you guys go right now on ScoochCase.com, you'll get 15% off your order. Sports 18, sports with a Z. Also, I talked about a promo. If you comment below, you'll be entered for a free Scooch case in the month of August. Make sure you guys go comment and subscribe below, as we'll be picking our winner at the end of August. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you guys later.